Hello, YouTube. This is Aegon Games 69 once again. Here to review, I guess again, a book called Bone. This is the one-volume edition, meaning it has the whole series in one book. There are 9 volumes in all. It was made by, it was thought up of by Jeff Smith. He does some other things. I don't know what his other ones are, but I like him for this one. This one is really good, and I don't know, like, it's just, I liked it because there's like this, you got the main characters, Phone Bone, Phony Bone, and Smiley Bone, and that, if you didn't see it, was that white guy right there, right there. He's that white little guy, and he has that's Phone Bone actually. The other one is Smiley Bone and Phony Bone, and their names kind of I guess, represent them, you could say, because Smiley Bone's kind of like this goofy kind of guy, and then Phony Bone's kind of like, he's a phony, you could say, because he's kind of like a crook. He's like a he's a very cliche politician, but that's what makes him so good. And then so anyways, they're then ran out of Boneville, their town, because Phony Bone got caught doing some shady business in his political campaign. So they ran out, and they're in the middle of the desert, and they find this map, and it hasn't really have any meaning yet, and then they get separated by the locusts, these things called the locusts. I haven't read it in a while because it's, I don't know, once you read it, for me, I have a hard time reading it again. It's just also, it's very long. I've been making some strides to reread it, but anyways, yeah, and then it's just it's they spend a little while, or at least the first volume is just them trying to find each other, Phone Bone trying to find his brothers, and it's just, interesting. And the whole time Phone Bone stumbles upon gosh, I can't remember her name till Save Me for some reason. I just saved my life. Thorn. The girl who was on the cover, also the girl to the right, and she has a grandma, and she takes her to her house, and it's all good, but she has a secret past, and she's actually this princess, and there's this other evil people called the rat creature. There's these things called the rat creatures, and these basically big rat creatures that are evil, and there's that cool aspect, because with the Phone Bone and Thorn aspect, it's all nice, and then there's that dark, real cool dark, almost like Lord of the Rings feeling to it, Saruman. There's this person called Briar, I think her name is. You don't find that out till later, but she is the grandmother's sister, and she, is the kind of like Darth Vader, you could say. I guess also Saruman from Lord of the Rings. And basically, she's in charge of the rat creatures, and they're trying to get Thorn, because she has some sort of power that would help release the Lotus Lord of the Locust, I think its name is. And it's basically this really bad thing, and there's also dragons in it, and that becomes it becomes more involved in the story, the whole dragon thing. It really escalates at the end. It starts to really escalate. It becomes so much more innocent, and then it just keeps building out this whole sense of intensity and epicness at in the very last volume. It's pretty intense. It's black and white, and I like that. It's kind of like Harry Potter, where in the first movie or book, Harry's, this innocent, guy, and then at the last movie and book, it's like he's totally different, so much more evil. People are dying left and right. A lot of people actually do die at the end, and it's just pretty crazy how all the stuff that happens in it is just, like, awesome. Sorry about that, like, close-up. I was repositioning myself. And then there is just... it's just a good, wholesome book series. It's a comic, It's not a, like... let's see. But, hey, what's wrong with comics? It's like reading in pictures, so you get to see what they're saying, and it's all expressed. I don't see what people are like, oh, comic books. Well, you know something? The whole reason books are like they are, they take, a few pages to describe this, because they don't have pictures. When you have pictures, you don't have to really describe them, because you do the pictures. That's the beauty of it. And people who are, like, lame and are all hating on comic books, obviously are too dogmatic to understand that they are just as equally good as books. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm lazy? Maybe it's because that way I know what the author wanted me to think of that character, not, here, let me put a vague description and then you do it. Think of your own character, because I am lazy. If anything, it's almost like puts a certain stress on that author if he has to make up the character, because even if he describes all of this, you're not going to get like a perfect vision of what the author probably wanted you to see it as. And when you do this, when you have a comic book, you can see what it exactly looks like. So back on topic, like there's just lots of cool, like I don't know, I guess like genres you could say. I mean, it's action, but then there's all this like romance and stuff of that nature. Just anyways. Like, there's just... I personally actually think that this could be made into, like, a movie series, perhaps. And, each volume isn't that long, actually, so it'd have to be, like, an HBO-type thing. But I think it could be really cool, like... I mean, they did the Spawn series, and that was, like, a cartoon, and that was really cool, and it was on HBO, so... I think it would boost HBO's ratings, because then they would have, like, a kids show per se, because it's kind of for kids, but it's also got a sense of like seriousness and kind of really cool, because it's kind of like interesting. Maybe they could just make it into a regular show, because this could last for at least a year. I mean, I think it could last for a few seasons. I mean, and I think it's cool that Jeff Smith doesn't like just drag it on like some shows are just trying to like, once a certain arc ends, they just go to something else and just keep milking the characters. And sometimes it's good to show character development, but other times you can sometimes just see that they're just doing that just to milk the show. I mean, I feel like in Dragon Ball GT more specifically, they kind of were... they were kind of just milking. I mean, honestly, the guy who made Dragon Ball Z wasn't even the guy who, like, made GT. He supervised it, but he didn't make it. So it's kind of like there was no real point. They didn't really. I mean, yeah, he's training and stuff, but they could have ended it there. I mean, if you really want to try hard enough, you can make any show last forever. But it's a matter of knowing when to stop. Dragon Ball Z was like I don't even know if that guy actually thought of like this whole scheme, like story, like that's actually how he wanted it, or it was just one of those, hey, let's get to a certain part, and if it's making enough ratings, we'll think of more, and kind of thing. But he presents it in a very good way. He's able to really move it along. But we're not talking about Dragon Ball Z. We're talking about Bone. Once again, back on topic. I mean, the actors, you could have Elijah Wood as Bone. Drew Barrymore, I think her name is, as Thorn. You could have Adam Smith, Adam Sandler as like Smiley Bone, or maybe Jack Black. He would be a good character for Smiley Bone. And like I forget who the little parrot in Aladdin could make a good phony Bone, because he's kind of got that like what are you doing? Ah! Kind of, I don't know. I'm doing a horrible rendition of it. But there's like it could be one of those cool, like, big time actor cameo type things, and I think it could, like, really boost it. So if you're listening, Jeff Smith, to this video, you should totally think of talking to, like, Fox or Warner Brothers or whoever to get this comic series into the big screen, because it would be totally awesome. So enough of all that. This is Agon Games. Sign off. Subscribe if you're watching this. Subscribe. Comment. Tell me how I'm doing. Comment also if you're gonna comment. Maybe if you want, try to see if there's something you want me to talk about, review. You know, anything. You know, don't just limit it to books or video games or movies. You know, anything you want me to talk about. I'm a very open guy, and I feel as though it's safe to say I can at least talk about a lot of stuff. Even if I don't know about it, I could maybe tell you what I think of that I would know about it. But hey, that's up to you. For me, I'm getting out of here. Good night, everybody.